Life is of little value in Rome, living in the shadow of the rich and powerful. But all of this is about to change.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Celebration is beginning big time this week. Roland, you're getting my first questions because Those About to Die marks your very first time directing for television. First question I have about that, just because it surprises me, have you ever had the opportunity to direct TV before? And if so, why not then and why now with this?
Well, it's like, I had to be convinced. And I think Game of Thrones convinced me that level is reached, which I kind of thought, oh my God, this is like so good. I want to do that too. And then naturally I have a long fascination with the Roman Empire. So, that kind of book then triggered us to kind of develop something.
Makes all the sense in the world. Another question about this being your first time directing television, because we've seen you do everything on the big screen in your feature films, but can you tell me something specific about directing TV that came with a little bit of a learning curve for you?
It's just everything has to happen fast, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh God, you cannot kind of do endless takes, so you have to kind of figure out how to, there was also luckily there was a technology which kind of was totally new for me. And I shot 108 days on that kind of stage alone. And there was called the volume stage, and that was pretty cool because you can see everything, and that replaces more or less, blue screen.
Oh, I have many questions about effects in the show. We are going to get to that. But Iwan and Gabriella, I want to come to you with a two-part question. Everyone here knows I like two-part questions about signing on for the show. First, can you each tell me something about Those About to Die that you were really excited to get to do when making the show? But also, can you name something that was more creatively fulfilling to do than you ever could have imagined at the start?
So obviously it was amazing to be part of this, a team because of Roland, obviously, that I was a big fan of his job, of his work. And the script really got me full into it. And the role was just the role I was waiting for 25 years of acting. So that was really the thing that pulled me into, because I love to play it's not even a villain. It's like a complex character that has so many shades, and there's nothing that she's not able to do. And this freedom of being able to push her in mad directions really was the thing that really kind of attracted me. And the most creative aspect has been, it's funny. I tell you a funny example. Like, I have a scene in the series where something really dramatic happens that I can't spoil. But actually, when these scenes happen, I'm looking into a thing, and there's a wall behind it, and I have to have all these whole expressions and all this world coming out of me, but I'm actually looking at the wall, because then in the movie, you'll see what happens. But in real work we do, it's just completely a sense memory. So it's like an actor has to really imagine what's happening, and that's your performance. That was really challenging. You know what I'm talking about,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like folks undervalue how important reaction shots and your work in moments like that. It just goes to show that the action isn't as compelling unless those reactions are good.
I was terrified by that. I was like, how the hell I do this? Like, I'm going to have to... And then I turn off the intellectual mind. I'm like, listen, just follow the instinct. But yeah, that's very creative. Very creative.
And now I'm coming your way with that two-parter, something you were really looking forward to doing, and then something that was more creatively fulfilling than you could have imagined.
Yeah, well, obviously, just to get to work with Roland, of course, and I think reading the script for the first time, I just loved how fast it was, and how episode 1 is just moved so quickly, and you just get introduced to this world, this real cross-section of Roman society in the year 79, and how I don't think that's really been shown before on TV, and that was something really exciting for me to do, and to get to play this character who's kind of sort of like the glue. He sort of fits, he's always moving around every aspect of that world, and just trying to spin all of his plates, and although some of them fall on the floor, then he puts another one up, and it's a constant battle for him. His life is incredibly stressful. I think for me, creatively, it was just the way that, because you can't play status, so when he's in his world, he's high status, but then when he goes into the other worlds, for example, when he's speaking to the son of an emperor, then he has to know how to play that scene and in that situation without getting himself killed. And they were the things that I really enjoyed, playing the subtleties of how his relationship was with the other person, how he knows how to play every situation to his advantage, and that was really fun for me to do.
You both brought up how excited you were to work with Roland, so I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite Roland Emmerich movie? I know what mine is.
Oh, Independence Day.
It's like a big part of the reason why I'm in this seat today. Yeah. If it wasn't for Independence Day and Jurassic Park, I wouldn't be in this business.
Yeah, no, me too. The day after tomorrow, Independence Day. Yeah, they made
I grew up with cinema, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Gabriella, I wanted to follow up on something I heard you mention in another interview that really caught my ear. You mentioned that this particular role, and I think these are your exact words, reawakened your love of being an actor. Yeah. That's really special. What was it about this role in this project that did that for you?
Yeah, because I was coming through a stage where, it's very hard, especially where I come from in Italy, to read very compelling female characters. So I was suffering of the offer being kind of always a bit the same and a bit repetitive. And I think when boredom comes into your work, it's a killer. Like, it really kills the creativity and the fantasy in how you approach this business and this job. So when this role came, I'm a Scorpio, so I have a very strong instinct. He's a Scorpio too, by the way. We're both Scorpios, yes. And I just knew, like, this is a role where I can actually play so many different things. And there's nothing really wrong with that, because you can really finally create something, being like a painter with a thing full of colors, and you put all these colors in the canvas, and something mad will come up, but at least it's creative. And I was really, really, longing for something like this. So when this role happened, and obviously I've been trying to work into an international market for years, and it's not easy for an Italian actress because of my accent, because of many reasons. So I've been trying to get the role internationally for a lifetime. And I was kind of come to a point where I'm like, this is not going to happen for me. So then I moved back to Rome, and then I met Roland, and Roland was trying to convince me to play another role, because he said to me, you're too young to play Antonia. She's 45. And I took up my ID, and I'm like, I am 45. I want to be Antonia. You're not going to give this role to anybody else. Remember that in Rome. Yeah. So I'm like, you can't fool me with this. I am exactly this age. You can make me older. I don't care. But so for me, it was those things together has been like a dream, not mentioning that I shot the show where I live. I live in Rome. So I actually shot all this amazing show with all these amazing people in my city. So this has been a gift in my career. I'm very grateful.
Such a well-cast show all around. Thank you. It's one of those situations where once you watch the show, you can't, there are many wildly talented actors in this world. You can't imagine anyone else playing these roles quite the way you two do, and the rest of the ensemble as well. I want to talk a little bit about setting the show in 79 AD. So, Roland, when you first decided on that with Robert, what aspect of life in Rome during that time period were you most excited to bring to screen? But then also, can you name something that maybe surprised you and became a bigger part of the show than you imagined?
Well, I was actually really surprised that, we chose, Vespasian, because Vespasian was a general, and he had no kind of way that he was he was good in organization, but he kind of had no idea really how to kind of run a whole empire. And I think he grew into that very fast. And he also was, he did something really smart. He tore down Nero's golden house, and on that territory built the Flavian amphitheater, which still stands today as the Colosseum, and that was kind of such a gift for Rome as a thing, and that and sports was so important, and they also like he kind of also followed totally what like his son Domitian, probably told him.
This the amphitheater stuff. I just want to tease for everyone how good that looks.
Wow.
So good. I'm not going to spoil anything, I swear. Ewan, I want to come your way to talk a little bit about Tenax because he's a fascinating character, multi-layered character like all the ones in this show. He clearly has a heart and makes some good decisions, but then also he makes some morally dubious ones. So do you have to come up with an anchor for a character like that, where no matter what decision he makes, it's based in some sort of consistent truth?
Yeah. I mean, he is morally dubious, but he's a product of his environment, and that he grew up on the streets as a child. He was homeless, and he's clawed his way to this position through extreme difficulty, and it's survival. So everything he does, it's business. He doesn't do it because he enjoys it. He doesn't want to have to kill people, but unfortunately, if you get in his way or you owe him money or whatever, he's got to create this persona that everybody else sees him as. And I think for me playing him, the interesting thing is the moments when he gets to drop that sort of facade, I suppose, the sort of the self-projection that he does. And I think that's the lovely, when you get to know him throughout the series, especially with his relationship with Carla, without giving too much away, that you see that he's actually he's got a real heart, and he's not a monster, and he's just doing what he has to do to survive. And unfortunately, he makes decisions, and he has to follow them through, and he makes some pretty big decisions as the series goes on, and he gets himself into a lot of trouble through those decisions. But but if you want someone who's good in a crisis situation, Tenax is your guy.
That's a fair assessment. I'm definitely going to circle back to your collaboration with Sarah, who is just absolutely incredible. Like, she is electric in that role. Gabriella, first I want to ask you about, so there's a lot that everyone has not seen with Antonia that's going to happen later in the season, but I want to ask you about making such a big first impression, in particular in that scene where she's there with all the other faction owners, where she steps in and she speaks up, even though it's basically highly illegal and could get her killed. What do you think it is about her that gives her, I guess, a greater sense of urgency to speak up on the matter than her husband?
Yeah, I think she's like the strategical mind behind her husband. Her husband is military, so he's not really a politician. And back then in the ancient Rome, women were not allowed to sit in the Senate or to have any kind of political role into the society. So Antonia is a politician, really, and she's blinded by the pursuit of power. She wants to get what she wants, and that's what I love of the character, because when you're so driven, it's like a wild horse that runs so fast. You might as well get against something because you can't stop. She's fearless. So she doesn't think about consequences. She just does whatever she thinks is the thing to do, and the urgency is that we need to stop the Flavians. That's nothing else. It might be risky, but we're going to do it. She has this kind of courage that is attached to madness as well. It's not just courage, I think, is driven by ego. She's probably a narcissist. She's probably an ego-driven woman. And then when you're like Narciso, he died because he looked at himself in the lake, and then you know what happens. So you got to be careful with those characters and with those personalities. So yeah, I think she's a bit mad, which I love.
I feel like they all are a little bit. I want to circle back to effects now with you, Roland. In particular, can you kind of walk us through how you all found the right balance between practical effects and visual effects for the series?
Well, I mean, whatever you do, when you do a visual effect show, characters are the most important. This all starts with characters. And then what also was really a gift to us and was the volume stage. It was the perfect way to kind of don't do any really, we had a couple of blue screen scenes, but they were very minimal. So I, at the end, shot more or less, 1,800 shots in the volume stage, which all kind of stayed there. And only maybe 30 or 40 had to be corrected. And then on top of that, naturally, we had to do like, all the white shots, which were like kind of 400-500, and then a lot of blood shots. Well, but like you have no time to really do blood. And so you're like kind of say, let's do them in post.
I don't know what this says about me, but I love talking about blood in a show, so I'm going to follow up on that. Yeah, well. Of all of the, I guess, the non-spoiler, gorier scenes we see in those about to die, which one was the most difficult to execute on the day?
I think maybe the crocodiles. Oh.
You didn't spoil anything. No one knows where, when, well...
I did better. Like, he did a bit of a spoil. Come on.
Oh, my God. Okay, sorry.
It's a good tease. You didn't spoil anything. There's animals in the show.
I also had a giraffe and an elephant that they escaped a lot, which is not a...
Well, that they escaped once. And
yeah.
I banished it off the show. I said, I'm not shooting with these two animals.
I think they went on strike, didn't they?
They chased them through the whole Cinecittà. I mean, it was like kind of wild. And they had even T-shirts made then, because on the front, was like they chased the animals, and then on the back was like the animals chased them.
Fantastic
That's
T-shirt.
really funny. Right?
Yes.
Amazing day.
Lots of stuff to look forward to in this show.
Anyhow.
All right, circling back now to some of your co-stars. I wish I could sit here and highlight every single person. We sadly don't have time. I'm going to pick two people. The first is going to be Dimitri, who plays Scorpus in the show, because Scorpus has just like this one-of-a-kind energy, and he absolutely nails his gravitas and bravado. So anyone can jump in on this. Is there anything you saw him do on set that kind of made you think this is why you're one of a kind in this role and bring that kind of energy to it?
Well, I mean, I knew Dimitri. I'd worked with him before. He played my brother in another TV show. Believe it or not, I don't know how that works, because we weird cat, different fathers. But yeah, I think the first day he was filming, he came in. He was doing it in his accent, his normal accent. He's from London, and then he comes in. We're about to do it, and he goes, "Oh, listen, Iwan, mate. I'm about to, Roland wants me to try this accent." And I was like, well, okay. So I'm going to be doing an accent, okay? I was like, okay. And then he comes in, he's like, "I am Scorpus." And I was like, oh, right, okay. And I just about managed to get through without laughing, although I did laugh.
Also, he pulled the door, he said
he
at the
smashed
first
the
scene,
door,
he smashed the door
yeah.
the first take, the first day
The
of
doors, do you
filming.
remember the door to Tenax's apartment? It was an awful door.
Yeah. Anyhow, and nobody wanted to cast him. No, nobody.
Why?
Well, because they wanted to have a bigger name. It's always kind of the same story. Yeah. And he was so perfect for it. Yeah. I mean, there's nobody more perfect for this part than him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I love that he speaks in the third person when he talks about Scorpus, and I think that's
what an amazing device. Because that wasn't in the script at the beginning, was it? It came in, didn't it?
Not at the beginning, but then somebody had the idea. Says, why doesn't he not talk in the third person?
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yes. I'll also never hear the name Scorpus any other way but how he says it. I'm very. I can't say. You all can apparently.
He drives Tenax mad. He absolutely drives him mad. But Tenax loves him so much.
He entertains Antonia, though.
It's accurate. I wanted to go back to Sarah briefly with you, Ewan, because. Hey, your chemistry in this show is just something else. I love what the two of you are doing together here. Can you tell me something about working with her as a scene partner that you appreciated and helped bring something out of you as an actor that you might not have been able to reach without her?
Yeah. Well, I think what was cool is that we didn't really know each other, and the characters don't know each other, obviously, at the beginning. And our first stuff was all in Tenax's apartment. So we did essentially the entire arc of the series from episode 1 to 10 in Tenax's apartment first. So we kind of got to know each other at the same time, which was cool. But she brings so much she's a wonderful human being to start with. so she's really lovely to be around, and she brought so much to the character, and she made it really easy for me. And I think, and we developed together, which was nice to get to do it that way instead of maybe starting in a scene where you've got a relationship. So I think we already had that vibe. So then when we went into other sets and different locations, we already had this sort of natural respect, I suppose, and trust in each other. And when you trust another actor, it makes a huge difference because you feel safe. And yeah, we could just play with each other and have a good time. And it was just, I think she's amazing. She's wonderful.
100% agree with that. You already mentioned crocodiles, but I do want to force you to tease what's to come for everybody a little more. I'll get it.
Without giving anything away, or what?
I feel like this is a somewhat safe way to ask this question. Can you each tell me what your absolute favorite episode of the season is and tease why?
Episode 5, because there's something that happened in the year 79, which was quite explosive. Ooh. And I remember reading it in the script and being like, oh my God, this is so cool that they're using this. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
It's not that cool because it's the only thing we didn't do in special effects. So with these explosions, I got to breathe a lot of stuff that I was asking Roland, why this is not special effects. They all had like masks and stuff. Here, there, Antonia's there.
We're like all covered up.
But I wasn't. So I was trying to do the take because I had this kind of thing and I'm trying to cover myself. And Roland is like, come on, like take this off. Do the, I can't say what because I spoil. Anyway, so I don't know if you understand anything. But anyway, this thing in the 5th episode is giant and painful.
What you got for us, Roland?
Are we talking about Scorpus? What? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's like... I have a couple of favorite scenes, and but they're all like kind of would like give something away, which is like kind of I shouldn't do, right?
You directed the last 2 episodes, right? Yes. I will tease for everybody. Oh my, those last 2 episodes and the action that goes down in them. So there's your tease.
Well, I mean, it's this was for me. I always like kind of believe that the last 2 episodes have to be really, really good. Otherwise, why would you want to see another season, right? And so I packed everything what I could into these 2 episodes, and it's like non-stop action, and non-stop also emotional action, which is it's a lot about. For example, she kind of sees somebody die, which is very clear, close to her heart and stuff like that, which is like kind of great because you have this constant back and forth between action, emotion, action, emotion. That's really important.
Both elements are quite impressive in those last 2 episodes in particular. All right, I'm going to turn to the audience now. I warn you, I am having a hard time seeing with the lights, but I see you. What's your question? And your name. Say your name, too.
I'm Nick. Nice to meet all of you.
Hi.
Hello.
What inspires all of you to do what you do?
You mean actors or directors? No.
All of you, yeah.
I don't go first.
Okay, so I just cannot do anything different. I kind of didn't learn anything. No, I'm kidding. It's just so much fun to make movies. And sometimes, let you like kind of a little bit, in a way, because it's difficult to do, and you have to kind of watch so many different things, But at the end, it's just fun, It's fun to do that.
For me, I think I had an epiphany of really what our job is. When many years ago I went to this place where old people, like a nursing home, and sometimes actors they have an ego, they complain, and even though we're very privileged to do our work, and it's an amazing, amazing job we do. But then this old lady said to me, I love to wait for you because you keep me alive. Every year I wait for you on TV. And that really stayed with me forever. So in the up and down of this career that is not always easy, I remember this woman telling me this, and that's really, for me, in my heart. And it's really honest what I'm saying. So we're storytellers. We're telling you guys stories. We're sharing emotions. That's what we do. We're just a vehicle for emotions and tell stories.
Yeah, for me, it's it's to kind of release. Sort of think of me sometimes as a sort of dormant volcano, and when it erupts, you've got to have a way to channel that energy, or something will get completely covered by pyroclastic dust, and. Yeah. Anyway, that's it now. I just like doing it. It's fun. Like Roland.
Well done, well done. All right, I see one right there, yes.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm really interested in, for you, Hector, what was challenging about working on the volume, using that new technology? What as a director was really important for you to help the actors get used to the new technology?
Well, first you have to set it up, which is not easy. You kind of have to kind of figure out how, to create, light in front of the stage, which fits to the background. And then naturally, the actors come in and you they most of the time see what's already kind of tried out endlessly. And so, and then, it's just we had a lot of problems with the height of this wall, because we always shot with very, very wide lenses, and I refused to shoot in any other style. So I used all kinds of tricks to kind of overcome that. And but in essence, it was also at the beginning not as good as it later was. So there was a really clear. Over the 108 days of shooting, there was clearly, a learning curve, and we kind of got really, really good at it. And also, there's a lot of people, I think they turn against the volume stage too early. They don't know what it really means. You know what I mean? And that you have natural reflections, everything is natural. Because it's an image, which kind of, and then there's also a certain. You have to kind of be really careful how what lenses you use, because if you use all of a sudden a too long lens, it becomes too out of focus. So you have then to go in, and we had a crane, and we went in and did that. But it was also really, really fun. It's just incredible technology.
Can make you feel a bit sort of seasick when you're on the set. If you're walking and the camera's behind you and the whole thing's moving, and you're like, whoa.
I didn't realize this when I was on that stage, and I just saw this huge statue of Nero there moving, and I was like, is it me? Or there's something. It was so bizarre because I didn't know.
Yeah, but you have a tracking system. The camera has to be, guided by a tracking system, because it's a lot about where the Nero is at that point. So it's it was important. Yeah, but and at the very beginning we had no tracking, and it was very limiting. And I kind of said, can we please have tracking? And then DNEG, which is a great visual effect company, which did most of them half of the effects, they kind of said, okay, we give you tracking. And that made all the difference.
All right, we're going to squeeze in one more from the audience. I saw over there first. Thank you to everybody who raised your hand, though. We appreciate it.
Yes. Ciao.
Ciao.
Quick question. What's a good challenge and beauty of filming an international crew, or in being filming in Italy but having a production elsewhere? So what's the international
Well, it's like,
For the folks in the back there, the question was about filming with an international team.
Okay. Well, it's like when you want to kind of use the full, like tax rebate, you have to kind of find all the talented people in Rome and in Italy. They came from all over the place. And then naturally, actor-wise, it was a lot, who can speak very good English.
Thank you.
And then
I'm not bad either. I think I improved during the series.
No. But like but it was also really good because I actually prefer English actors. My favorite film is Anonymous, and that's all English actors, theater actors.
What about Welsh actors? What about Welsh actors?
For me, it was funny because I was the only one Italian, and the crew are all my friends, like the crew and makeup and hair. We've done many movies together, so I could understand everything they were saying, even when Roland was like, basta fumo, più fumo. So I was like, yeah, I know what was happening on both sides. That was fun.
All right, before we let you go, I'm ending on my personal favorite question. Some folks in this audience know this question. Nobody likes it because it puts you on the spot. In this industry, we give each other awards. Super cool. We should keep doing that. Nobody tells themselves good job nearly enough. Can you each tell me something you do in Those About to Die that you know you'll be able to look back on and say, I'm so proud of what I did there?
Wow.
You go first.
Why? He's looking at me. No, you go first. You're first in the line. Come on. I need to think.
So very much like a volcano. I erupt pretty good. And I think I do some really good walking around in sand.
Yeah.
And I think it's not easy. You get sand in your sandals. You might not know about this. You never went in the sand, really, did you? Very much. No, she's
Sorry, no, I'm a
patrician class. Yeah, not like us down in the lower levels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of walking, some really good, fast walking.
Not
It's funny
always
for me. Oh, sorry, love. No, sounds very silly what I'm saying, but I'm very proud that I had fun.
Yeah.
I was able to actually enjoy my work, being surprised every day, and really be happy, which is not that obvious because we always project things and our ego always think, we should get there and do this. No, I was simply happy and joyful. And that's what I'm proud of, that I was able to achieve.
That's not silly at all. That's one of the most important things on a production.
Thank you.
Well, I had to get used to the speed. It's like it was murderous, right? I mean, but I kind of think we got it all done, in time, and I'm really proud of that because you can, you can say all kinds of things, but at the end, it's about how many hours you have, and that's where I have to do it.
You did it. You got 10 episodes here.
Thank you.
Before this gets drowned out by even more applause, I'm just going to remind everybody, you watch this, you love it. One, spread the word about it, and also make sure you binge all 10 episodes on Peacock on July 18th.
Oh, wow, look.
Now it's time for applause. Thank you for being here with us,
Thank you, guys.
and congratulations.
Ciao.